Okay, this is what I'm looking for. I put out a poll a while ago asking you guys like which transitions that I should make next inside DaVinci Resolve, and the top two contenders were paper rip transitions and film scratches. So I figured the best place to start would be to uncover all my old film negatives. I spent I don't know how many years strictly shooting 35mm, so there's a ton of negatives in here, but I'm actually not so interested in the photos. Let's see if I can find one in here. Okay. What I'm interested is to find blank frames or solid frames. So I'll show you closer. So either frames that are completely black like this or completely transparent. I'm gonna pull out a few and that will be the basis of actually making the transitions. I'm always really interested in doing things like really analog and DIY. So this is where we're gonna start. I'm kind of excited to like look at some old photos, but yeah, I'm just gonna find some like faulty frames, I guess I'm gonna call it. Pull those out, and then we're gonna get started trying to make some transitions. So let's get to it. Okay, these are gonna be the basis of how I'm gonna create these film scratches. I think this one should be easy and it should be fun, so I'm excited to get started. So I'm just having some fun destroying these negatives by scratching them with a knife, screwdrivers, coloring on them with markers, and then kind of scratching that off. And then I have this little guy from back when I was actually scanning film with my camera, and it's just a little light table. So I can put all the finished negatives onto the light table and then take some top-down photos so I can bring them into the computer. Okay, so I'm all wrapped up taking top-down photos and I want to show you what I got. Okay, so we got some full-on scratches. This one is the same, just a little softer. Same thing with this negative. And then this is with a Sharpie. Okay, so that's the textures we're working with right now. I'm gonna open Fusion and start figuring out my node tree. So let's do that now. Okay, I'm kind of at a standstill right now because what I'm doing sucks. I don't really like any of it. It's just boring. I'll put on the screen like what I'm actually working on. I think like less is more, if that kind of makes sense. Like I kind of went way overboard with the film scratches and I actually just want to dial that way back down because it just doesn't look good. So I did have another idea that I was going to save for the future, which was kind of just like film punches. I'm sure you've seen those. I really like the look of those. And I think this might actually save it. So I think if I combine the two, it might give it enough texture. So I'm going to ditch what I'm doing in Fusion right now. At least I have like a basis of like a node tree workflow right now of kind of how it could work. But my next step right now is just pressing pause and going to get a hole punch and then kind of going back out and hole punching some film. Got the hole punch, now we can just keep going and see what we end up with. Okay, I'm pretty frustrated right now because I feel like I've been at this for almost a month now and I don't really have too much to show for it. I feel like the next thing that I need to do is kind of think about it in two separate things. Like when I was making the paper transitions, if you haven't seen that, there's a whole video on it. But when I was making them, I basically just focused on one thing, which was a matte, which is just black and white, and it's basically A reveals B. So clip A will reveal clip B, and that's pretty much a transition. This is so much more stylized that there isn't really that opportunity, and maybe that's what's hurting my brain, is because it's the opportunity is literally just endless, like it's whatever I want. Right now what's working is hole punching as a matte, so that is at least a little bit of a transition from A to B, and then some of the scratches just aren't working at all. So that's where I'm at right now. I guess I'll update you when I know the next step. Future me will figure this out. Okay, so future me has figured it out, and everything went well in there. I did also try to write on the film, and that didn't really go to plan, but I plan on bringing a text node inside Fusion so you can kind of like type in whatever you want. I think it might be cool. If that doesn't make sense, you'll see it later. Right now, let's take a look at the new textures and then dive into Fusion, and I'll show you the node flow tree thing that I'm working on for these transitions. These are the textures that I got with the hole punch. There's a few that I really liked how they turned out. Okay, so this is my finished node tree, and I'm just gonna walk through it because pretty much every transition that I've made in this pack uses this same flow, basically. And if you're not interested, you can totally just jump to the final product and how to use them. But for the people who wanna see a little Fusion breakdown, this is it. So yeah, we got Media 1 and Media 2 just feeding like a regular cross dissolve. So the heavy lifting right now is done by these punch hole mats, and then they're just getting resized. And basically the heavy lifting for this effect is on these transform nodes. So I've literally just keyframed a few things and then looped them. And that pretty much is doing all of the work. Same thing on this one. Looks crazy on itself. And then I merge them together so that there's both of them happening, which looks even more crazy. But when you merge it, you can start to see the actual product. So this is revealing clip B, basically. So that really helps to sell the effect. For clip A, all I'm doing is basically adding a dust texture. And I'm doing the exact same thing here. A little bit slower animation here, but that's it. It's really that simple. So on these, I also add a little bit of a drop shadow, and I think that helps sell the effect as well. For this clip, like it's obviously a little bit darker, but if I turned it to like something like red, it makes a pretty big difference, I find. Yeah, I think it just like sells the effect a little bit more, gives it a little bit more style. So something like this is in every single transition. And then these three effects right here are basically the secret sauce, I guess you could call it, for this entire transition pack. So this is a little displace node, which is not doing a whole lot, but I think subtle enough to like make an actual difference. And then brightness and contrast, I'm boosting the gain here to give it kind of like a flash, similar to my film flash transitions. And then we're giving a shake because it needs it. Yeah, before this, it's a little boring. And then adding that, like, I feel like all three of these adds a little bit of style, I think. In the end, they're all like customizable. So if you're not really feeling the flash or you're not feeling the camera shake, or you want more camera shake, you can do that on the user end, which I think is very important. So yeah, pretty much everything runs in this fashion. So I definitely went with the less is more approach. So this is the finished pack here when you have it installed. And this is the one I mentioned a little bit earlier. So Film Scratch 3 is actually, you're able to basically type in anything you want. So I'm gonna type in my name. I just leave it on Open Sans because I believe that's installed on like every system. So I don't think you should have to install any fonts. But you can pretty much change it to whatever you want, switch all the sizes, and same thing here, it'll loop. And we lost the sides here, but if you scroll down, you have the right text that you can move back, and same with the left. So I really like this one. I've wanted something like this for a while. So that's that one. All of these transitions I think work best around like 6 to 12, maybe 15 frames. That's kind of how I've always used like film flash overlays. But yeah, there's a couple of different variations of like punch holes. This one has like more texture on it. If you don't want it, you can obviously turn it off. But yeah, I've made them all slightly different. Some of them are fast, some of them are slow. This one like moves the entire frame. This one is just like a huge overlay. If I were to make that like 8 frames, it totally changes the look, and especially if I make it trying to match. Totally different look when it's sped up. This was also frustrating me in Fusion, but if you're using it on a vertical timeline, I've added a vertical button so that it won't stretch it like crazy, and it'll actually look native to the 16:9 when you play it back. Yeah, like something like this. It looks incredibly ugly when it's vertical, but when you hit the vertical button, it cleans right up. Let's switch this also. And yeah, that looks way better. But yeah, that's how to use the transitions in the pack. They all have flash controls, shake controls. Sometimes you can turn off and on the punch holes, and they all have color controls as well. Download link in the description, and I hope you enjoy them. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this journey. This was a difficult one. I can't believe off the top I was like,
this one should be easy.
But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hit that download link in the description if you want to pick up this pack. I read all the comments, so if you want something in DaVinci Resolve, let me know, and I'll try my best to make it. So yeah, see you in the next one. Peace.